So let's talk about the Cat O' Nine Tails, which is the third Dario Argento movie I finally got to see. And I'll say this, I didn't like this one as much as Suspiria or Deep Red. I loved Suspiria and Deep Red and thought that they were incredible, and I was so ashamed that I had not seen those until this year. But Cat O' Nine Tails is totally fine. It's just not the same, like, it's not the same Dario Argento horror I loved with the other two. Like, this one is not trying to be that. It's not trying to be the same type of movie. I mean, it's got a lot of things that are similar to the Dario Argento ones I've seen, but this one is really different. Like it's hard to say because there are things that are similar to the other two, but it doesn't. It's not as intense and not as interesting with its characters. Even though I do like both the characters and the intensity in this movie, but it's not the same for me as the other two. And I read online that Dario Argento said that this is his least favorite movie he did. I think. I don't know if that meant every movie he made, because who knows when he said that quote. But this one, like it's not bad at all. It's definitely not a bad movie. It's just not one that I love like the other two. So let's just get into it. Starting out, I really do love the score though. Ennio Morricone, man, I just said that bad. Ennio Morricone, he is such a fantastic, like with his music scores, and I love it. I love everything I've heard him do. And he's got a great theme song for this movie, and the score is good, but it felt like there wasn't as much of a score throughout the movie, or at least one that had a very big variety throughout the movie. Like, it felt like there was a score, but it didn't feel like there was every scene there was a different type of music to it. It felt like it was kind of repetitive in the score, even though it was great, and it's fucking Ennio Morricone. Of course, it's gonna be great, but his score, his theme song for this movie is really, really great though. Like, I love the theme. That it feels like it belongs more in a western, which is something that he's known to do scores for. Even though he has done other things, but he is known for his scores, like Good, Bad, and the Ugly and all that. But it's a great theme song, but it feels like it fits more for a western, even though it's fine here. But I really did love the score, like the theme song especially. And this one's harder to explain and talk about than the other two, because this one is about, and I'll try to decipher this as best I can. It's about this lab genetics location where there's a different, like, chromosome that connects to where these, like, it's a bad chromosome to where you can do more dangerous things. And I forgot what like, again, it's hard to explain. I don't know why I'm stuttering with it, but it's like this character is trying to, like, there's a secret, like, thing that they've created, and, like, there's a killer going around, and it resolves in that matter at the end of the movie, but it wasn't as interesting as the other two. It was just like, okay, that's weird, but I'll say this, I did like the main characters a lot. The killer plot with that is just kind of okay, but the main characters I liked a lot. I thought that they were interesting. I thought Giordani was an interesting character, and I thought that Franco and his the girl he was with, Lori, I thought that they were really cool characters. Giordani I like because he just had a fun personality to him, and he was a good, like, main character. And Franco and Lori I really like, because Franco is this blind guy, and that's a cool thing to have in a horror movie, where a blind guy is one of the main characters who helps throughout the plot, and he does a good job of it, being blind. That's a cool thing to have in this movie. And I like how he's got his connection with this Lori girl, who I don't think it said they're related. They might be if I missed it, but he explained to, I think, Giordani or somebody else that she has no parents and he had no relatives, so they just stick with each other. And I don't know what that means, if that means anything. And they explain something else later that I'll get to about it, but I still don't really get it completely. And if I watch it again, maybe I will fully understand, but But I liked those characters a lot. They're really interesting. These are fun, interesting main characters, and I like to see them try to make it through in this movie. And it just, like, the things with the killer in it are good, but they're not the same, like I said, as the other two, where it's like, in this one, it's totally fine, though. I like the fact that this killer, you don't see who the killer is until the end, of course. It's a whodunit, of course. Like the other, well, Deep Red is a whodunit, and then Suspiria is more like, what is this place? Like, what is going on in this establishment, more so than who's the killer, I guess. But in this one, it's interesting with the killer, I guess, where you don't know the reveal, I guess, is okay because it involves the plot that I was talking about with this location, but like it doesn't have the same spark like the other two for me. But whenever the killer is on screen, I do like the fact that Dario Argento is great with using eyes in a horrific situation, and like when the killer appears, it always shows like a close up just right here, like of the killer's eyes, just watching, and that's really effective. It's not as effective as, say, something like Deep Red, where like that scene where that woman is in her house and like in the closet, there's just that black eye just staring at her. That's really scary. But in this one, it's effective in a way, but it's not as effective as something like that. And I feel like I keep pushing to say that Deep Red and Suspiria are better, and I think they are, but this, everything in this is totally fine. It's just not the same amount of, like, I just didn't feel as much in this one like those other two. So, but yeah, the killer kills at least 4 people throughout the halfway point in the movie, and discards any evidence of him being there and all that, and does things where like he tries to kill Giordani, and then the girl he's with, like, he puts like poison in their milk, and they almost drink it. And Giordani in the movie is just kind of looking for more clues to figure out this murder. So it is like Deep Red a lot in a lot of ways, but Deep Red was a lot more interesting. Even though the characters are fine in this, like I said. And then he learns the news about Franco, where I don't know how to explain it, because he reads like this thing about Franco and Lori and says like it's supposed to be creepy, and I don't remember exactly what it said on the paper, but it's like he wanted to keep her for himself, and it made it sound really creepy with the Franco character. But I think that was supposed to be like a red herring, just to maybe think that Franco is the killer, and they even do that later in the movie, which again is something Deep Red did too, but better, where like the killer, you don't know who the killer is throughout until the end, like that one. And in both of them, they keep having these characters with false red herrings to them, with like Franco, where like he has that thing talking about Lori, and it sounds kind of creepy, and then later he's got that weapon he used to stab that guy, and then Giordani looks at him like maybe he's the killer. They do that a lot in both of these, and I just enjoyed it better in Deep Red. But Giordani thinks later that the killer could be Anna, the girl who almost drank the milk, and he even brings up a lot of funny points, like, because they literally did not a slow-mo, but like she literally slowly put the milk up to her mouth, put it to where it was just about to touch her lips, and he's like, no, don't do it, earlier in the movie. And then later in the movie, when I think she's the killer, he points it out, like, you took too long to drink her milk, which I thought was funny, that's so hilarious that they pointed that out, because in a lot of movies they'll do that, where a character will do something really slow, but then in this he points it out, like, you were slowly drinking your milk. Like, that was really funny, or slowly trying to get to drink your milk. And then she kind of wasn't on it, where she's like, she said something that I think made it imply it, but I like that a lot. I like that scene where he completely just told her off, like, are you the killer? And I like that so many people, they could be the killer, and this again just does an interesting job of making them all seem like they're suspects, and I really do like that mystery of it. And whenever we get the reveal at the end of the movie, the Cassoni guy, this guy, I guess he was in the movie earlier, but this is where the movie falters for me the most. I just didn't care. I was like, okay, this guy's just randomly here again, but like, he's the killer. That's it. Like, it didn't give a big, it didn't pack a big punch like Deep Red or like in Suspiria. What they realize is going on in Suspiria. It's like this one had the reveal, but it wasn't a big like oh shit moment. It was just like oh okay, and then he falls so easily and dies. But the other villains did that in the other movies too. They appeared and then kind of lost quickly too. But that guy fell down the elevator shaft and like landed on the elevator and died. And that's it. And like Lori, the girl that he took earlier, like to torture because he was trying to get Franco and Giordani to like come to him. He you hear her voice like say Cookie because that's the name that she says to Franco the whole movie because that's kind of their like bonding name, like because she's a little girl. And so it ends like that, and it didn't pack a punch for me. The ending, I was just like, and I understand the guy, the killer, was like, oh, you felt kind of bad for him because he was talking about how he was being framed and all that, but like it didn't pack the same punch. Like I really didn't care about him. So that's where the movie falters the most for me. I thought it was really great until the ending, which was just okay. And I don't know, like again, like the other two were way better, and it just really didn't give me the same. And I guess Dario Argento feels the same because, like I said in that quote, whenever he said that quote in Time, it's like he said this is his least favorite, and I could totally see that because it just didn't pack the same punch for me. So definitely not a bad movie though. Definitely not a bad movie. I'm glad I saw it. I did enjoy it for the most part. So overall, not as good as the other two I've seen, but it was pretty solid though. So I still am glad that I saw it.